live now.
All right. Hi, everybody. This is Michelle Thompson and Trisha G. And we are actually talking about, we're going to be talking about enlightenment. So let me pull out.
Anton's first. He must have been waiting. It says at the bottom, no justified resentments. Was that for something else? Or?
Okay, hold on one second here. Let me just get everything set up here. All right, Anton, you are the first. Okay.
Get a gold star.
Get a gold star. Okay, hold on. Let me get this muted. All right, let's get this thing going here.
That's it. It's changed now.
Okay, so, all right, let me get this. It keeps on, you know what's happening here is it's flashing back and forth between the two of us, not sharing the screen. I don't know why it's doing that.
Have you got it set on speaker view?
I don't know. How do you do that?
At the top of your Zoom, there's, if you hover over it, it should be a speaker view or you want it on speaker view, not gallery view. Because I think gallery view, then when you speak.
I think that fixed it right there. Let's see. No, it didn't.
Should have us both side by side. We're side by side now.
It's on, yeah, we're side by side. Okay, yeah. Great. Okay. Awesome. Okay, all right, you guys. So just waiting on people to come in, and let me get this to where I can see the chat room.
I'm going to hit the thumbs up now.
All right, so today, you guys, we are going to be talking about enlightenment and the steps to enlightenment. This is Michelle Thompson. I'm Michelle Thompson, and this is Trisha G, and this is Cosmic Consciousness. I almost said the wrong thing. Anyways, yeah, so this is Cosmic Consciousness, and what we're here for, you guys, is to help you raise your vibration. Hey, Trisha, did you have, by any chance, happen to put an announcement on your page that we were going live?
Do you know I didn't? But there are quite a few people going live. I normally do, but I was... I can do it, let me, if you want me to.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I know there's quite a few people going live right now tonight, so there's...
Right, that would probably be a good idea. And hey, Tim, how are you doing? So yeah, and you do that, and then I'll just kind of chit chat a little bit while you're doing that about about what the conversation is going to be about. Okay, so basically what we're going to be talking about tonight is enlightenment. And we're going to be talking about steps to enlightenment, mindset, you know, creating the best you, stages that people go through to get there. This is really going to be an interesting conversation, I think. And hi, Chantel, how are you doing? Nice to see you. So I think this is going to be a really good conversation. So make sure that you like the page. And share it. And if you do, and you send me an email saying I liked and shared, I'll give you a copy of my ebook. My ebook is called You Can Be Awesome, and it is mindset training. It's basically teaching you how to be the very best you, how to get rid of all the negative thoughts and all that stuff. So I'm going to use some of those tools and talk about some of that stuff today. We're going to kind of go over some of that as well. And basically, that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right.
Unfortunately, it won't let me. I've put in the chat what it's saying. There's an error on YouTube.
Well, that's weird.
A team of highly trained monkeys has been dispatched to deal with the situation. It won't let me go to the live streaming and put an advert up.
Well, that's strange. Is it because you're online?
No, because I'm through Zoom, so I'm not live on my channel. It does this at times. It's a glitch in YouTube. I've had this before come up.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I posted something on Facebook, and I'll do that real quick, and then we'll just get busy talking because people can watch the replay.
People can catch the replay because I know there's quite a few people live right now that might watch us.
Let me post it real quick. Okay. go through. All right. Okay, so
I've shared it to Twitter as well.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay. Did I just close out of here?
Glitchy, yeah. It's saying there are monkeys trying to fix it.
That's okay. All right. So let's get busy talking instead of chit-chatting. Yeah, I know there is a lot of live shows going on right now, so that's okay. We're gonna go ahead because people can always watch the replay. It's no big deal. All right. So hey, Melanie, how are you? Okay. So let's get started on this. Okay. So basically, we're going to be talking a lot about enlightenment and what it means to be enlightened and how do you get to be enlightened and the steps to enlightenment, the challenges people go through to get to enlightenment and the mindset that it requires to get there. And you know, maybe a little bit of mindset training if we can kind of get that in maybe towards the end. But so a lot of times I find, Trisha, that people that are reaching towards enlightenment, they, you know, because I actually had a conversation with my daughter about this today, and she's like, well, Mom, maybe you should like teach things like application, like how do you contact your spirit guides and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but Amanda, you're missing the point here. You know, people always want to jump 20 steps ahead, and then they get caught. And so, like, in the steps to enlightenment, you've got like one of the first steps that people do is they're just curious. Okay, so they reach this level of curiosity. Okay, so that's usually the first thing that happens with people. And then they start doing research. So they're watching, they're Googling, and they're watching YouTube channels, they're watching the Gaia channel, you know, and they're trying to, you know, and they'll find some path. Maybe it's ancient aliens, or maybe it's spirit guides, or whatever it is. They'll start moving in a certain direction and start doing the research, and it kind of brings them all over the place. In the process of that, everybody starts to realize that they need to start doing some clearing. And they need to start working on themselves, and they need to get rid of the negative thoughts and the negative feelings, the self, you know, issues with self-love, forgiveness, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that's where people get stuck. And because they'll go to gurus, they'll go to psychics, they'll go to everybody, and they get stuck in that spot because they can't seem to. Aliens abducted my spirit guide. Oh boy, we got some funny guys tonight, right?
Ira and Anton are very similar in their how can I put it? Their humor.
Their humor.
They mean well, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Anton's been messaging me on Facebook a lot.
Oh, yes, is he? I'm kidding. I think he's got the hot.
He knows I'm married. It's never.
Yeah, I think he's got a little crush. Yeah.
Anyway, so a lot of people get stuck in that spot, you know, and a lot of times they get stuck and they go and they find a guru and they stay in that space of working on self, you know, like, because they feel like that they can't seem to get past certain things. Like, I can't seem to, you know, I've got to, you know, and it's too much pressure on themselves because they think they have to be perfect. And, you know, and I hear too many people talking about this level of perfection that you think that you have to reach. Like, I have to be vegan, and I'm not criticizing vegans. Okay. I'm just saying, you have to be vegan. You have to, you know, do yoga, and you have to meditate daily. You have
no swearing.
What is he saying? You keep up with the chat while I'm talking.
He's just saying no crush. Ask Michelle. I did not try to get with her winky face.
Yeah. So anyways,
and can I add to that? And for me, I've got this big thing about swearing. Like, I grew up with a father that swore like a trooper and a mother that never swore. And it's like, I still to this day, I don't swear much because I don't feel the need to, but I have this thing where I can't be spiritual and swear. Like, if I swear, and people are going to laugh at this, if I swear, I'm not going to be spiritual. Like when you just want to say like, F it sometimes, you know?
That's
like,
so funny because I don't feel that way at all. In fact, it's really funny because I had a spiritual teacher for a while, and he used really bad language. I mean, really bad. I mean, he was constantly saying some really profound words. And one day we were talking, and I was still in the process of trying to decide if I wanted to take this path of being, you know, a spiritual teacher and all that other stuff. So I was still in that clearing stage and removing all the obstacles and trying to make a decision about the path I was going to take. And I told him, I said, you know, sometimes when I do, you know, allow my higher self to kind of come through and I start speaking, that people start looking at me like I'm some kind of God or something. And I don't like that. And I said, I just want to relay the message. I don't want to be presented as somebody to worship. And he said, well, that happens to me too. So what I do is I throw a little F-bomb out there every so often, and that fixes that. So I actually found that it worked because people saw me as more being real, human, and caring versus being somebody. And that's all I really wanted, was somebody just to see me to be real and caring versus seeing me as, you know, their guru. You know?
And someone who's relatable, because I think that was, I know I'm pretty relatable, but the swearing or like getting angry, you know, like we all have anger in us. Like people are triggered. We all get triggered at times, you know. It's not healthy to stay in anger. But like, if I got angry or swore, I had this issue, and it's my issue, no one else's, where like, oh, well, I'm not going to be seen as professional. I'm not going to be seen as, which is, I know is a load of rubbish, and that's something
that's the part, and that's exactly what I'm saying, is that we judge ourselves so hard that we get stuck in that space right there that we can't move to the next level. And so it's the judgment of self that creates this problem, you know, with, and we can't see, and we just get stuck right there because we can't seem to stop the swearing or stop eating. You know, I mean, I knew a woman who was probably the most spiritual woman I've ever met in my entire life. And she was probably close to 400 pounds. I mean, she was a big woman. Okay? And everybody in the Houston community knows her. And nobody ever said anything against her because they knew of her as being completely loving. She ended up passing away. She had a heart attack. But I mean, that was the biggest funeral I ever went to in my life. It was the most impressive funeral I've ever been in my life. I mean, and she was just so beautiful. Her heart and her soul was so amazing. And so, you know,
it's like my father had, when he passed away, there was 200 people at his funeral, and most of his friends were already passed away. So if they'd all of it, they were standing up at the back. My dad swore like a trooper. He went to the pub most nights, but he did have a very caring side. Like he'd help anybody that, you know, he did have a spiritual side to him in a weird, not in the obvious way. People were standing up at his funeral, and that says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And
most people didn't even know he was passed away, or most of his friends had already gone before him.
Right, absolutely. And so I think that a lot of people get stuck in that space of thinking, if I could only be, if I could only be, if I could only be. And yeah, I mean, and they strive so much for being instead of doing.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the part where people just get stuck, and they'll never get past it, and they'll never reach the level that they want to reach if you're so stuck on trying to be so perfect. And there's, and that, you know, and some people say perfect is a matter of opinion, but you know, I do things that I feel is okay. Just like, you know, like you, I'll say some cuss words, and you know, for you, it doesn't feel comfortable, but that's because that's who you are. My mother doesn't say cuss words. She'll say, she's a bee. And she'll say like a bee. like that instead of saying bitch. And I'll go, Mom, just say it. Just say bitch. She just like laughs and says, I can't. and that has nothing to do with her trying to reach spiritual enlightenment. That's just who she is. And maybe that's who you are. And you just need to kind of stay in the state of, accepting yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sorry, my son, I'm live right now. My son came in, sorry, just brought the cat in.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I don't think I'll ever be comfortable. I know somebody who goes live doing things and she swears like a trooper and I love watching her, but that is not me. Mm-hmm. And that's not, but I love watching her, and so do many thousands of other people. But that will probably be never me, which is fine, isn't it? Because otherwise
you have to be true to yourself.
You have to be, yeah, exactly, true to myself.
And that's the key thing right there is that to get past this level, you have to be true to yourself. So if you're not a cusser, don't become a cusser. Don't go, oh, well, Michelle's spiritual, so I want to be like her, so I have to cuss. No, you have to be, you have to be you. And you have to be true.
Me, sorry, I didn't mean to. What I've realized is showing my emotion a bit more as something I but I hold back on showing my passion and emotion sometimes, especially when live. And then it shocks people when I do. I don't mean like rage at people. I mean just like let it out, that passion and emotion. So that's something I'm learning, because like we're all, growing. That is something I want to be more expressive about, emotion rather than like. Because
but is that who you really are? Is that who you want to be?
Yeah, I'm quite a passionate person deep down, and I like hold a lot of it back.
So that actually kind of gets into the subject we were actually supposed to talk about, but I didn't do enough prepping for that, was shadow work. And when you get into shadow work, what you're doing is you're looking at the suppressed side of yourself, not the who you want to be, but the suppressed side of yourself, whether it's suppressed positive things or suppressed negative things.
Yeah.
And it's what they call the shadow self, is the part that's kind of hidden behind that, and you work on that. But we'll talk about, maybe we'll do that next week. I'll just make sure that I'm prepared.
Yeah, I do. Like Anton's put, it takes a lot for Trisha to burst, and it does. But even positive like excitement, I've realized at times, and other people relate to this, I'm feeling this thing and I'm thinking it's fit, and it's actually not, it's excitement, and I'm like holding it all in. I'm not expressing it, or there's nowhere for it to go. So that's something I know for me, and I'm sure there's others, keeping it all in. And I just want to like, it's not the real me holding it all in.
So you say you don't have anywhere for it to go. Like where, what do you mean? Like you don't have like friends or family or people that you can like, because sometimes even if I feel like that, I just, like I was doing lives on YouTube a lot, and I would just,
yeah, well, maybe like I would jump on YouTube and just talk, and I don't, but I have people I can share it with, but I've just realized even it can be anything. It can be about coming live with someone and I'm actually excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's that, yeah, someone said stiff upper lip. There's a lot of, but again, I think this is partly my programming that I've had.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's your shadow self issues that you're with right there. But the point here is that you guys, is that we need to, if you get stuck in this area of trying to be perfect and thinking kind of like what Trisha said, I'll never be spiritual or I'll never be enlightened until if I say a cuss word, okay, well, I'll fall all the way down. It's like you do so good and then you fall. I mean, that's not the truth. The truth is that enlightenment is something completely different, which is what we're fixing to get to. But there are stages that you go through, because everybody goes through these stages. And they always step through them automatically. It's not like a list that you have to check off and go, okay, well, I did all my clearing, It's automatic. We just, as human beings, go through this. And a lot of people get stuck in this space and they just don't ever get out of it. And they're always like going to yoga classes and taking this class and taking that and going to a guru. And they're always work. And the biggest thing that you need to do is to forgive yourself and accept yourself and be true to yourself. And if you can do that, then you can start releasing all these negative thoughts. And once you really, and so that's like the next thing is to let go of the negative thoughts. It's those negative thoughts are not who you are. It's who you were programmed into. And those programs can be reprogrammed. And you guys, like I told you, if you like my page, you like the video, and you want a copy of the book, all you have to do is like and share. Send me an email to michelle66thompson@gmail.com, and I will send you a copy of this. It's the steps to release all this negativity out of your mind, reprogram it. Okay. So anyways, so once we get into what I have seen, and I've seen this countless amount of times and it never fails. So I'm just like, just kind of tapping my, finger, just sitting here waiting, because I know it's about to happen, is when I'm working with somebody is they get rid of all their negative thoughts and they realize they have all this control, and they're like, and they realize they have power. They start learning to manifest, and they start realizing all these things, and they're like, and suddenly what ends up happening is they go into a God complex.
The God complex, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I call it, the God.
Or spiritual snobbery, as I call it.
What do you call it again?
Spiritual snobbery.
Spiritual snobbery, exactly. So then what happens is I can't be around that person. They're so negative, and I can't this and I can't that. And you start eliminating everybody in your life. And I too went through that. And I remember, like, because you start thinking you're better than everybody. Oh, I have the power to heal. I have the power to manifest. I can think of something. I can make it happen. I don't have any negative thoughts. I'm so awesome. And when you actually accomplish these things, there's nothing wrong with feeling awesome. But the problem is you become a snob, like you said, and that's not, that's not enlightenment. That's very judgmental. And so a lot of people get stuck in that judgment state, like preachers and a lot of these people on YouTube that are teaching stuff. They're like, you're doing this wrong, and blah, blah, blah. And they're just really like so hard on people and not letting them go through the process naturally and at the pace that they need to go through. And nobody else is going to be at the stage you're at. There's only like 2% of everybody that even reaches that level. Okay. So when you reach that level and you start getting into this God complex, then you start making everybody else feel like shit, and then nobody wants to be around you. And that's kind of what happened with me. So I kind of like wrote this little story about climbing a mountain, and I went up to the top of the mountain. And when I got up to the top of the mountain, I was like, oh my God, I reached God, and I was like so happy that I reached the top of the mountain. And then I realized that I'm here alone. And when I realized that I was alone, I started throwing a rope down to all my friends, trying to get them to come, and they would slip and fall. And until I would creep down a little bit and hold the rope for them, and they couldn't make it. And I started really getting frustrated because I felt like if I stay up here, I'm going to be all by myself. So what do I want?
You're trying to pull everybody with you.
Right. So I was trying to get everybody up there with me, which is what most people do. So they start trying to force, you need to let go of your negativity, and they don't have the training, okay, to help these people.
Did you find that it started to drain you doing that? Or did it drain you?
To do what?
When you were trying to pull other people up with you to like...
I felt it frustrating.
Frustrating, yeah.
Frustrating because you know the answers now. Like, the secret to the universe has been given to you. And it's so simple. And it's like, holy cow, everybody can do this. And you're like, and they don't want to.
Yeah. Not everybody's ready, are they? Not everybody wants to. They want to stay.
They don't want to. So in my little story that I wrote, And this was just this, I like metaphors. So sometimes I like write metaphoric stories. Sometimes just, I don't do anything with it. It's just something I do for myself. But in the story, what I said was that I went down to the bottom and I started hanging out with the savages. And I realized what they were, and I accepted them for what they were. And I was okay with dancing around the campfire because it was fun. But I knew who I was.
Yeah.
And who they were. So, and I was allowing them to be who they are. It's like trying to make a dog meow. It's never going to happen.
That's so funny.
They need to the dog's going to have to go through magical training. Okay. And so anyway, so before I go any further, is there anybody in the chat room that I need to, are you up with that?
I don't know whether you want to answer this. Anton says, I wonder if Michelle ever has an appointment with freaks, whatever that means.
Yes, I do. And
depends, what do you mean by freaks, Anton? Because that's a very broad.
Well, yeah, it is.
What does he mean by freaks? I'm just intrigued what his version of freaks are.
Well, he said annuology. I don't know if he was referring back to someone.
I think he's referring back to the hi-hat church crowd. Yeah, I saw something the other day where this guy was preaching outside. Crazy people. Okay. Get them all the time.
Yeah. Stalkers. No, I only get stalkers on Facebook, and really haven't with anything. Not clients. Most of my clients that come to me, they're usually like last resort kind of situation. So they're like, I've tried everything, been to everybody, and now I'm going to try you. And usually they come to me because I'm also a hypnotherapist. So I advertise hypnotherapy, and so they usually come to me for that reason. And as far as crazy people, it depends on how you define a crazy person, but I would say 98% of most people are crazy. So
I've never had a stalker as a client. Yeah, I've had some interesting people like through social media, but never a client.
No, I've never had a stalker as a client either. I guess it depends on how you define crazy. So most of my clients have emotional disorders. So they're like anxiety, depression, that kind of thing. Typically, most of them are on meds. Really, really emotionally, just distraught. They usually come in my office crying hysterically. And I'm like, I have to calm them down and say, look, I can help you. And, my treatment is, I'm 100%. Like, I did a show with Jeff, and he's like, that's a big statement. And I was like, well, I definitely get results. And because I know the process that they need to go through. And once you clear your mind.
He means like psychopaths, people that probably will never be healed because they don't.
I've only ran into that a couple of times. And that was really quite interesting. That's a whole nother. That's psychopaths. I think it's happened to me like maybe twice. And so and I really did try to help the guy, but he was so crazy that there was nothing I could do. No. I mean, he just wasn't willing to, I basically just kind of threw my hands up in the air, and I said, until you're willing to actually do the things I ask you to do, he would call me, text me at all hours of the night. And it was very, very.
Which a psychopath, they're not going to, I don't think they can be. They've found, I've done a lot of research on this, and maybe some of their symptoms can be managed, but they say, and I found out the difference between a psychopath and sociopath. One's born, psychopaths are born, sociopaths are made, but they still act the same.
Interesting.
So, and that's from the medical field.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've gotten bipolar, and I have actually literally, like, most of the people that walk in here and tell me that they're bipolar, I usually tell them I don't believe in bipolar. And
psychopaths generally don't go for help anyway, so you're not going to get
right,
many.
right. And people will argue with me over that, this whole not believing in bipolar. But the thing is I've had too many clients that were diagnosed with bipolar that weren't bipolar when we finished.
Yeah,
So,
don't you find that I've seen that's the in thing to, I've seen so many people on YouTube say I'm bipolar, and I'm like, is this the new trendy name for whatever?
oh girl, I did a video on Facebook called Don't Own Your Diagnosis.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like, it's a badge of honor that they're bipolar. No
basically,
disrespect, but
you're stopped there. I mean, it's the second that you start saying that you're bipolar and you commit to that, then that's it for you. You might as well just hang it up.
yeah.
I mean, it's there's no way out. As long as you've decided that that's who you are, your life is miserable from that moment on. And so anyways, when a person is stuck in the judgmental state and they're constantly believing that everybody has to be, like they need to get, they're just hard on people and difficult, to be around. And I've seen my clients do this. Okay. And it becomes really hard for them to maintain their friendships that they've had for a lifetime because they get into that God complex. And, this one guy, he was really started being mean to his mom because he's like, Mom, you're so negative. And I'm like, wow, that is not love, and so so some people can get stuck in that space and get extremely judgmental. And start criticizing people, or just, I don't want to be around. I mean, some of them just block them all together and say, I can't be around negative people. And here's the thing, everybody's negative.
Yeah.
They've gone through these stages and worked with somebody like some kind of teacher to help them get outside of it, because it's almost impossible to do it by yourself.
But what about these people that have all this help, and they still, I mean, I think there's some people you have to remove yourself from, don't you think? Because they stay stuck in the negative, and it doesn't matter how much help they have with a therapist, a coach, people, friends, always lifting them up, and they're always...
Well, so there's a difference between that and feeling like everybody's got to be on board and you become the God and the judger, the ruler, and the the whole thing. You're deciding, whether, what's going to happen with their destiny and, that whole thing. I mean, you become as bad as a preacher, and it's just not, it's not a space to be in. And to start judging people that you love, like your mother or your father or your brother or your sister. I mean, you've loved them all your life and you were great all until you reach this state, and suddenly you start to realize that you have all this power and you're like, I want to share it. And most of the time it's done with good intention.
Yeah.
They just want to share it. They just want to share it. But I always tell people that if you want to share it, tell them to come see me. Don't try to do this yourself, because it's, if you try to get there, try to get these people to do that, you're just start becoming abusive because they start criticizing instead of, and to answer your question though, Trisha, sometimes there's people that you have to separate yourself from. They're like, and on some level they're equal to a psychopath, because they get so wrapped up in their negativity and their pain that it's difficult to be around them.
Yeah.
And they can't just loosen up and have fun or just talk. And, I mean, but if I was to stay in the God complex state, I wouldn't have a relationship with my daughter. I wouldn't have a relationship with my son. I wouldn't have a relationship with my mother. I wouldn't have a relationship with my father. And these are the people. I wouldn't have a relationship with my husband. I wouldn't have a relationship with anybody, because I don't think I know anybody except for my teacher that's actually been able to really accomplish these things, and some of my clients, you know, but they move on with their life. And so but in my life, my personal life, you know, I mean, I'd have to nix everybody out. I mean, I'm not going to cut people off that I love. You know? I can help them if they want help, if they ask for help. But if they're not asking for help, they're not ready.
Yeah.
Who am I to play God? Who am I to say, you need to do this? I don't tell my daughter that ever. I don't tell my son that ever, or my dad or my mother. You know, my mother is super religious. Okay.
They have to ask first, don't they? Like, I'm always checking myself.
I meet them at their level. You know,
I make sure, hopefully, that I don't just stop preaching to people. Like, I only give guidance if they ask for it, whether it's a friend or a client. But if you keep going up to people saying, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you shouldn't do that. Like, hello, I've had people do it to me, and I'm like, even in my own business, I'm like, hello, like, I just think, who do they think they are, coming to me telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing, when like I've never even asked their opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, you know, these are people in my life that I love, and what I do is I just accept them and I meet them at their level, and so, you know, my daughter calls me up and she wants to talk about her wedding, and so that's what we talk about, and she. Like, for instance, when I was asking, I was like, so you have any thoughts? You know, she knows what I do and who I am and everything. I said, do you have any thoughts on some topics that Trisha and I could do? And she had good intentions, you know, because she's like, oh, people need to learn how to reach their spirit guides and that kind of stuff, you know. And I think that that's a level that a person achieves after they've done all the clearing. Because if you start trying to reach your spirit guides and you're like, hold on.
As the light goes out.
The light went out. If you fail the spirit guide. If you start trying to reach your spirit guides while you're still dark inside, guess what kind of guide you're going to get?
A dark one. Maybe that's what happens with these people that do just jump straight to that then, because that's not one of the first things I wanted to do. Like, was just not at all.
You've got to clear all your demons first, you know, and I mean your inner demons, not the demons that are attached to you. You've got to clear all your past and your pain and everything, and then you've got to start clearing all your, you know, the judgment that you have towards other people. So that's the next level, is to be able to actually accept people for who they are and love them for who they are. And accept things that happen, and that would be the next one. But let's just go to love and acceptance right now. So you just accept a person for who they are, love them for who they are. You don't have to be a participant in their drunken behavior. You just love them. And you can put a nice little picture over here and say, I love you so much, but you don't have to participate in that behavior.
Yeah.
You know, you can show up for family events, give them a big fat hug, and sit in the state of love but you don't have to participate in hanging out and going boozing up with them or whatever because they're an alcoholic or a drug addict.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Go ahead. Did you want to say something?
No, Rex has put, what if your demons are the best part of you? Well,
he's joking.
He's got to be. Hi to everybody that's come in the chat, by the way. If we're not said hi to you, he must be joking, yeah, because...
No, he's got to be joking. Yeah, he's got to be joking because... And if your demons are the best part of you, then so be it. You know, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. I don't care, you know, but there's certain things that if you're trying to achieve certain things, okay? So for instance, if you're going to medical school, you got to take biology and, you know, pre-med classes and all this other stuff, right? But if you're going to go to be an engineer, you're going to be taking a lot of math and, you know, that kind of stuff, engineering classes.
You're not going to do the same classes, are you?
Right, exactly. So if you're choosing to go into that direction, then go that direction until it doesn't work anymore, and then you find a different direction. But, you know, if that's what you want to be and that's how you are, who am I to judge? You know, that's your path and how you're going to learn and how you're going to grow to get wherever it is you need to be. And sometimes people have to travel the dark path to get to the light. Sometimes people have to experience those things to fall and come back. And so if that's who they are and that's where they want to be, then, you know, then that's who they are and that's who they want to be. You know, I mean, it is what it is. And you as an individual can decide whether or not you can accept that or not. And if you can't, you don't need to be judgmental. You just love them and accept that that's who they are and that you can't change that, and that they're on their path where they're supposed to be, exactly where they're supposed to be at the time they're supposed to be. And they're at their own spiritual evolution at the place that they're supposed to be. How do you know that you haven't been through hundreds and thousands of lifetimes and you've learned, your soul has learned how to get to this space? And maybe this is a younger soul that hasn't, and I don't mean younger, like it was born younger, but perhaps that soul hasn't incarnated as often. And so it doesn't have the experience.
That's a good point. I've had to learn that with family, because I've made it no secret, I've had to cut ties with certain family members in the last year or two. But I think that's a good point for me to get to, and I'm getting there, where I don't need them in my life and they can get on with their life, but accepting because I was trying to make them see a different way, you know, like, can't you see, like,
the God complex?
Yeah,
the God complex.
There's lots of people out there that will do this. And I've come to this place of peace of, like, I think I'm nearly there. Like, they're on their path. I'm on my path. We don't have to communicate, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. As long as you're just not holding resentment and anger.
Which I was, I'll admit. Like, I'm human like everyone else, you know?
But you've let that go.
Yeah, I've really got to a better place about all that. So but you hear so many people do they? They stay stuck in that.
They stay
10
stuck.
years down the line, they're still hating on.
Right, exactly.
An ex or a family member, and you've got to let it go. It's Absolutely. A good way to, sorry, I think that's a good way to put it, is like, you've got to remember we're all on different paths, and I think that's an easier way to accept it.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too, there's always something else that I always try to tell people is, if you know, there's a couple of things. Okay, so there's two things I want to mention. Sometimes if you're looking at something from a psychological perspective and you're going down that path, then you're going to look at it like toxicity, you know, victimizing and all that stuff. And so you've got to run that path, okay? Because that's the state that you're in, and that's the level of understanding that you have. And doing it any other way is going to create pain. And so that means that you have to release yourself from the toxicity and the, you know, whatever. But if you're running a spiritual path, then it's like, what is spiritual may look like to some people is victimization, because it's like, for instance, so I'll tell you something personal. All right. So somebody that I love did something that was inconsiderate on my birthday, and didn't mean to, but my daughter had a bigger issue with it than I did. But basically what happened is that there was, this person kept on disappearing, and for long periods of time we were at a pool, and would leave and then come back and leave and come back. And then when this person came back, was on their phone the whole time in the pool. And And I was like, put your phone down, you know, just put it down. Oh, no, I've got all this work stuff and you don't understand. I work 24/7, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, I think that your work can wait. And, you know, and I said, I'm just asking you as a favor, please put it down. So that didn't happen. And basically I was sort of like, you don't understand. And so when this person left for a little while again, and when this person came back with a person that this person was dating, and that person's sibling. And suddenly the phone went down and it got put away, and all the attention was there. But because those two people showed up. And so my daughter had a bigger problem. I mean, she was like, oh my God, that was so rude and inconsiderate. And she was really pushing me to say something. And I had to process it for a couple of days, because I don't feel judgment in this area, because I understand that this person is running their path, and this person is trying to learn certain things, and this person's also extremely young. And so I felt like I'm thinking, okay, am I getting into a judgment state if you know, if I behave like this? So there was no anger and there was no crying or anything. It was just a little disappointment. And so eventually I said something, and I tried to be as cautious about the way I approached it, but I felt that it was important that I relayed this message, because after I started thinking about it, I thought, am I being true to myself by holding this? So I decided that I was actually disservicing myself by not being true to myself. So I decided to say something, and this person like, oh, I'm such a bad person, blah, 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 you know, and that's not what I wanted. And so I was like, all I needed you to know was how I felt, and you can do with whatever you want. You're forgiven. In fact, you were forgiven before you did anything. I mean, there was nothing really to forgive. It's just how I felt. And I just wanted to, you know, I felt like if I didn't say this, then I wouldn't be true to myself. So, and now it's over, and you do whatever you want with it. You can either repeat the pattern or not. That's up to you. And so I let it go. But again, my daughter was wanting, and it's just like, you know, and
it can be the view that keep it going, isn't it?
Yeah. And so being around somebody who has a different level of understanding, like her level is, I love you so much, and I am here to fight for you. and you know, it's stick it to the man that hurts my mom, you know, and that kind of stuff. It's you know, it's very, she's her love is so big. Okay. But she hasn't reached the level of complete acceptance, and that's okay. So I'm not going to disregard her or say, you're causing me to feel things that I shouldn't feel. In fact, I actually honored her for pushing me to acknowledge that I needed to be true to myself. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes these people that you may feel are a lower vibration are actually there to help you grow. So that's a whole different perception, because they may be placed in your life, and they have maybe made a contract with you before you were even here to say something or do something to push you in a different direction. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Because I've had that as well, where there's been times, and like other people, where you feel like, I really want to say something, but is it going to look like, oh, I'm a bad person? But I'm not being true to myself if I don't speak up and say how something made me feel. Doesn't mean to say you're going to like hold it against this person for the rest of your life. But if you don't get it out, it stays and festers, and yeah, it makes things very awkward. The worst thing is when people don't hear you. They don't truly listen to how you feel, and then you feel you're not heard as well.
But my part needed to be acceptance. Okay. But I also needed to present something to him so maybe he could learn from it.
Yeah.
But it's not my job to judge either.
No.
So like I said, the next part is love and acceptance. So you accept the situation for what it is and understand, however, whatever way that you want to go about that, you have to be in a state of acceptance. And then I think the last stage is to understand that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to be. And that, you know, every time I've ever had some kind of tragedy in my life, it's actually led to something really great. And so you look at it for a second, and if you look at it like, you know, and I've even got my husband saying it, and he's like, he'll go, when I'm like, oh my God, every time we turn around, we get a door slammed in our face. And not literally like by people, but that's the terminology my mom used to say when God was telling you no, he would shut the door. And so I kind of use that terminology a lot, meaning that it wasn't an open path anymore. And so I was like, oh my God. Da, da, da. And so Shane says to me, he goes, well, like you said, like you always say, if it's meant to be, it'll happen.
It's meant to be, it's meant to be. I always say that as well.
It'll happen. And he's like, wow, I sound like you, you know? And I just kind of laugh and like, okay, all right, stop using my words.
And there's another, like, I'm not into the God thing personally, but I do sometimes say, God, what is it? Rejection is God's way of saying wrong direction.
Actually, I agree with that.
Yeah, I do. But the word God, like, yeah.
Well, that's because God now has such a bad label that it's, you know, it's a man sitting on a throne, you know, judging.
In the sky somewhere. That's what I used to
think. You into a pit of hell, you know, you were a sinner. And so, you know. But
I really believe I even tell my son that, like, rejection is God's way. So when he was applying for all these, like, summer jobs, and normally he's virtually been given a job on a plate, like, so he's took some rejection, but it was a lesson for him to learn that no, and it was hitting him quite hard. And I just said, there is a reason why you're not getting these, and something better is going to come up. And I feel what he's got at the moment, that, you know, I don't know why.
And if you just get into a state of acceptance about life and just roll with it.
And he got hired like that. He went for the interview, they hired him straight away.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happens. Like everything that happened with this whole life change thing that we did, this whole, you know, thing that we did.
McDonald's turned him down. Like, he's in a much better place where he's at. Like, even McDonald's that's crazy. But what he's got now, I think for whatever reason, it's going to be better for him. And they really like him. So I think he'll be appreciated more where he's at. It's a family-owned business as well. Exactly.
That meant that the universe was trying to say that there's a much better place for you where you're going to be valued more. And I think that when you kind of when you can learn to look at it from that perspective, and you learn to realize that, okay, this just happened. This is what is supposed to happen. And it's happening for a reason. So I need to start looking somewhere else. I remember one time when I was meditating, I mean, it was like every freaking thing was happening wrong. It was like, oh my God. And it was like every single time, I mean, I felt like every freaking door was shutting. And it was when I first started my business.
Right.
And I was just so frustrated because I was trying all these different avenues for advertising, and all these other things were happening. I mean, it was just crazy. And everything was just, nothing was working. And everything was falling apart. And I was like, how am I going to get my name out there? This isn't working. So I finally threw my hands up in the air and I decided to meditate. And I decided I was going to go into a deep state of meditation, and I was going to contact my guides and I was going to find the answers. And I was like, somebody's going to tell me what I need to do and what's going on and why this is happening to me. And And the message that I got was, when the door's shut, start looking for the secret windows. And I was like, so I got up and I was all excited, and I go tell my sister, I'm like, secret windows. And she goes, Michelle, you're just looking in the wrong places. That's all your dream is trying. I mean, your message.
Meditation.
Right. And the next day I got a phone call from this really big advertising company that had blown me off completely in the very, very beginning. And boom, that set my whole career in motion. And
Cool.
so it and all this stuff, it happens to me all the time. And I've told Shane, I said, I swear to God, you know, I don't know how other people live, but it's like, I freaking have somebody like literally like going, no, not that direction, this way. I mean, they literally like push me over here, you know, it's like, I mean, I have doors slamming and doors wide open, and that's it. There's no
in between.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Michelle has a path, and we're going to make sure she doesn't get off of it, because this is the direction she's going to go. And you remember when I called you and asked you to do that reading, because we were looking for all those houses, and every single time I'd make an appointment for a house to go look at it, they said there was an application on it. I mean, it was driving me insane, because I was like, you know, and so I was like, and I was real calm about it. And I'm saying it's driving me insane, but I really wasn't insane. I was actually really calm about it.
But it's frustrating.
It was like, what's going on? Okay, what am I not seeing here? What direction am I not looking at? And that's why I felt like maybe, you know, if you did an intuitive reading, you know, that maybe you could point me towards the secret windows. But by the time we actually got together to do it, that door opened up, and it was a whole different direction than what I even was contemplating. Yeah, exactly. And so so if we can just, when we reach that, I mean, true enlightenment is where it's in complete, utter acceptance of self, of others, and of life. And if you can just live in that state, then that is enlightenment. And it's not about if you're a vegan. It's not about if you vape or not vape. It's not about if you're fat or if you're skinny. It's not about if you wear makeup or if you don't wear makeup. I mean, some people think, you know, because I wear makeup, oh my God, like whatever. I mean, I used to, I was like a hairdresser and a makeup artist for years, you know, it's like, and most of the time when I see my clients, my hair's up in a bun and I have no makeup on. So if I'm going to get live on a camera, I'm going to put makeup on. Okay.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, but thing is that those people that judge, I just let them sit in that space, because, and you know what I do? I encourage them. Most of the time, I just encourage them. There's somebody that I know who said something about themselves. Oh, I'm working hard at this, and I have my faults, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I got to work on those. And I felt I felt intuitively there was a lot of judgment that this person was doing on themselves. So I said,
it sounds like hard work, just the way they were talking. I got to work on myself.
I know. It's like, I got to do this. I got to do this. And I could feel that I got to be, to do, I got to do to be, you know, that mindset. And I felt it. And I said, you're doing great. You're awesome. And I really believe that. I really believe that in this person, because I see them striving, you know, and they'll get it and they'll relax and they will be fine. There's been a huge transformation in this person's life. So it will happen. But it's not my place to change. It's like when I start stepping in, I start playing God. The only job that I have is to say, you're okay exactly where you're at. And that's love and acceptance.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go through that path. They're going to get there. You know, we all get there. And it's just, how long does it take? And, you know, is it this lifetime? And, you know, everybody's so interested in spirituality now. I mean, and everybody wants to grow. So if you want to reach these levels of enlightenment, you need to get rid of your demons. And the very first step is to stop judging yourself.
I think that's one of the biggest. Forgiveness and forgiveness of yourself.
Forgiveness of yourself and stop judging yourself. Yeah. Now, once you do that, here's the great thing. You can create yourself and be the very best version of you. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to be like Trisha or Trisha's going to be like me. You're going to be the very best version of you. And what does that look like? As Michelle, what is the best version of me? What does that look like? What is the very best that I can be as Michelle, being true to Michelle? What does that look like? And what is the very best version of Trisha look like? You know? And if you think about that, then you can start creating it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I always tell people is that if you're focusing too much on your faults, you'll never be able to create the new you. So why don't you just alter your thoughts? Just move into the thoughts about what you want to create and how you want to go about it. And that first step. So who is it you really want to be? Oh, I want to be a doctor. Well, so you need to start taking pre-med classes. That's the first step. And that's what you focus on. You don't focus on anything else. You think about it like you're like school. Like you next step. Yeah. Most people like try to jump too far ahead and they fail.
Yeah, because if you think like I've got to go from here to here, it overwhelms people, and that's why they often don't even try, or they just give up, because they're jumping 10 steps ahead, and that can feel overwhelming, can't it?
Yeah, that can be overwhelming. I'm trying to figure out what somebody blocked something that Iowa said, I think. It says hide or show.
Oh, it depends. If he's typed something, it'll flag up for you to hide or show it.
Oh, because he said shit.
Yeah, it must be one of your...
Okay, I'll say show.
Your naughty words.
I'll approve bad words. Okay, all right. So do you like fat guys who have money?
With no money, he says.
With no money. That's so funny.
Do you know, for me, how I'd answer that is, what would mean more to me is a guy that has got ambition and is doing something. Like somebody might be like, I'm not particularly attractive to really overweight men, and that is just me. You know, you can't be attracted to something, but yeah, and I don't want somebody who's broke, but if they're working on themselves and they are...
I think it's mindset. It's the mindset.
The mindset thing. But if they stay fat and broke all their life, and it's going to sound judgmental, no, I wouldn't find that attractive, because that would not fit with my life. I want to grow.
Yeah, I want to kind of add to that. So as far as attractiveness, I've always liked men that are a little bit more husky, a little bit fluffier or huskier. And
huskier? What do you mean, like carrying a bit of extra weight?
No, not fat, but like husky. Like,
what's husky mean?
Busk, like big guy. Yeah, like not, I mean, I don't know what else is called.
I've never heard that term apart from for a dog.
Maybe it's a Texas term.
It must be.
Anyways, yeah. So yeah, like I never liked skinny guys.
Right.
And I think a lot of it's because I'm tall, so I'm 5'9", and and I'm built fairly stocky, I guess. Like what is it? Shira. No, not Shira. Oh. Shiva, the warrior princess.
Oh, I know what you mean. Warrior princess.
Yeah.
Xena, the warrior.
Sheena. Yeah, she's a warrior princess. Anyway, so I've got I'm built a little like that, and I lift weights and stuff, and so I have a tendency of being a little bit. I'm not like real I don't have like the.
You're more muscular.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't have the what do you call it? Yoga body, like
oh
that.
Yeah.
And so I have a tendency. I also have more curves in my physique as well, and so so because of that, and being tall and I'm going to be larger than skinny guys. So
yeah, and
I don't like that. I don't like that. It's not appealing to me whatsoever. And
I don't like skinny small guys either. And I'm 5'6".
I found that I was open to dating men that were larger, that probably fall into the overweight category or fat, like he said. Because I didn't, I just, somebody who's nice and caring and stuff. But what I've found personally, it doesn't match my lifestyle. So, because I'm active and I work out and I eat very clean. And so it just doesn't work for me because I can't be with somebody who,
if they can't keep up with that.
Well, right. I did date somebody one time that was like that. And I ended up gaining like 15 pounds the whole time I was with him because he was always wanting to go out to eat and Chinese food, Mexican food, that kind of stuff. He's always had like, ooh, and he'd get in bed and he'd have like chips and stuff like that. Oh, come on, you have some of this, have some of this. And he'd get all excited. It felt like he brought home a cake and he wanted to share it with me. And I'm like, I am going to get so fat. I cannot eat like this,
That wouldn't work for me.
It's the lifestyle. And so I just found that men that are heavier, they have to eat a certain way to keep up that big old body. And so
I'm laughing at what Anton's doing.
What?
He's thought, come on, Michelle, I saw you eating chips at the gas station.
Yeah, right.
He's funny. Women can get wrecked by a man. Do you know what? I lose weight when I'm in a relationship. I always lose weight.
Really?
I'm always at my thinnest in a relationship. A lot of women put weight on. I lose weight.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. It's all the sex.
You're gonna say
we got to talk about sex every single time, right?
That was in my head and I thought, no, I can't say that. You said it for me. It must be. I am always at my thinnest when I'm in a relationship.
Well, it's interesting because I'm actually the opposite.
Yeah,
most people do not eat like I do. Like when I'm not in a relationship, I'm like juicing, and I'm like, I'll spend all this time like juicing, it takes forever to do it. And I'll do all these protein shakes that have all these vegetables and green shit in it. And, but what?
Sorry, Anton said it's the sex hour. I've gone all blurry now.
It's always the sex hour. I know.
I wasn't laughing at you. I was trying not to laugh at what he wrote. But like, I can eat more when I'm with somebody. But this is the difference in people. Some will gain weight in a relationship and some people lose weight, don't they? Same with men.
Yeah, I typically gain weight because I start cooking for them. And because
you're quite a good cook. You're a good cook and a foodie, whereas I'm not.
I am a foodie and I do love food. And so I have to be careful about that because I like rich foods, like gourmet foods with, and stuff like that. So I do enjoy that taste, but I have to be careful about that. So I really try to eat, I try to eat cleaner all the time. And, but if I'm cooking for somebody, oh my God, I go over the top, and so that's, it's challenging sometimes when you're with somebody who has different eating habits. So
I just find it fascinating, the difference in people, how they respond in relationships, especially weight and things like that.
He's saying chick food. No, it's not chick food.
What's chick food, IRS?
Because men can eat heavy foods. Their metabolism is so much. My husband, oh my God, he eats everything. It's ridiculous.
Lewis does.
I had to learn the most discipline with him because he's always got chips. He's always got junk food. And I cook for him and I cook him these healthy meals and then they sit in the refrigerator. And so I'm like,
Hi, Wendy. I know Lewis is the same. He can just eat and eat and eat and eat. And yeah, he's getting bigger because he goes to the gym and he works out, but he's still very like lean. He's, you know, like a lot of people see they've got like they might be slim all over, but they've got like, what do they call it? He's got nothing like that. He's just flat, like, and he eats so much food.
A lot of people are like that. You know, my husband's like that. He eats and eats and eats, and it's just crazy. I can't believe how much he eats, and it's just ridiculous.
I'm not going to keep asking a question.
He'll get in bed and he'll like sit there and we're watching a movie, and then he'll just jump up out of bed and go grab the ice cream, and then he'll sit there and eat it out of the carton while we're in bed, and then after he's done, he'll go, what else do I want? And I just look at him like and shake my head. I mean, like I said, I had to learn discipline with that one because, you know, I mean, the temptations of ice cream, you know. So,
actually, my ex-husband was like that.
Then if I eat ice cream, then I wouldn't be enlightened.
He would. I used to have to stop him.
You missed it.
Sorry, I missed what you said. What did you say?
Yeah, you did. You missed what I said. I said because if I ate ice cream, then I wouldn't be enlightened.
Mint chocolate chips, the best. But my ex-husband would get the, you know, like the 2 liter, we call them 2 liter tubs, and I used to have to stop him and put it away, like not controlling. He would eat the whole tub in one go if he could, and I'm like, you've got to put that away. Like that's not good for you. So like, he was the same. But he was very active, and he just had a flat washboard stomach, but he wasn't skinny. He was, you know.
How in the world did we get onto this subject?
I don't know. It's them. They brought blooming food into it, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, it was because he asked if I liked fat guys.
She's married, so she's not going to be looking at other men anyway.
No. My husband is.
Oh, she might like. How can I put it? You might see man and admire like an attractive man, but it doesn't mean to say you're going to obviously do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean I can acknowledge an attractive man, but you know, I was single for a long time. I was married once, and then I was single for like 15 years, and so I know what the single life is like, and I have no desire to destroy, damage, or anything to.
At the end of the day, it's how you feel. What I've realized is doesn't matter what they look like. Yeah, you've got to be attractive, but it's how you feel with that person. And the people that I felt best with have not always been stereotypically what I thought I would find attractive. Mm-hmm. It's all about how you feel with that person. So all the guys out there that think they've got to be like washboard stomach and perfect, like you got to forget all that, because
it doesn't. It's, you know, it's about compatibility, and that's all I was trying to say is that I might be attracted to somebody who looks a certain way, but if their eating habits are really like outside of the world, I'm not going to put myself through that, because I know I would be like constantly, you know, dealing with a battle, because when I go on diets, oh my God, Shane just gets so upset. Because he's like, oh, you can't eat here. Oh, that's, you know, it's like it really upsets him, you know? And so I'm like, okay. So I've learned that I don't diet. I just don't. And so what I do is I live a certain lifestyle, and when there's something he wants to do, and then we go do it. And that just seems to work the best. Like that way I go anywhere you want, baby. And so I don't have to worry about that. Anyways, so as far as this whole enlightenment thing, I think we've kind of covered every, you know, like the different levels of getting there. But the biggest thing that most people need to understand is that it's not about contacting your spirit guides. It's not about being perfect. It's not about becoming a vegan or losing weight or, you know, whatever that you are not cussing. It's about being true to yourself and releasing your demons from inside of you that is haunting you and becoming the very best you. Create who you want to be. Like, what's the very best version of you? And sometimes that may change. You know, you may have an idea of what that looks like. I mean, there was a point when I started doing this work where I thought the very best version of me was going to be an artist. And I just didn't realize until I started dabbling into so many different things that I had this longing for something else. It was so suppressed that I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to do with it, you know, and I hadn't nurtured it. So there was no way like I could ever like be a therapist or, you know, or a spiritual teacher. There's no way, because I hadn't nurtured it. And so the best thing to do when you want to go into those realms, if you think that there's certain thing you want to do, then just start taking the steps and moving forward and dabble in it and see how it makes you feel. There's only one way you're going to know if you like something, is just start working towards it.
It's like when I started numerology and doing tarot, it just felt right. And it was something I'd never imagined doing, as, you know, that people would pay you for. You know, it wasn't something that I was brought up thinking that's what you do. But when I did it, it felt so right.
See, yeah, exactly. You just start doing it. I mean, I actually thought that I couldn't make money at doing this. And so my plans were to just do it as a weekend gig. And I was going to keep my high paying marketing job and do this.
Whereas I didn't have a problem with that, but family members did. They used to tell me, you can't make X amount of money doing what you do. And it's like, I said, people make a lot more than the figure you're quoting, because it's an exchange of energy. They were thinking about what it was that I was doing instead of the energy exchange and the time. I said, there's people make a lot more than that figure that you're saying. That's peanuts to some people.
So here's the thing that I've actually discovered, and I always knew this, but when I really started applying it, oh my freaking God. You know, it's really bizarre how when you start being more at service to others, that everything starts flowing back to you. Because the universe wants to do that energy exchange. Somehow or another, I don't know, but when I was doing my 30 days to enlightenment on Facebook, I made so much money. I couldn't even, I was so booked, and it wasn't people that I got off of Facebook.
Interesting. So you were doing that as like a freebie, and then the work was coming through another avenue, but
kind of like rewarding me. You know, I was solidly booked. I couldn't take any more clients.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still, you know, the repercussions of that is still flowing. Cool. But I just was blown away because I didn't get one client off of Facebook.
Yeah, that's something I noticed.
Yeah, it was all people that started Googling me. And I was so like backed up with new clients. And so this just goes to show me that when you start being in service to others, then, you know, the universe starts paying it back. You know what I mean? And there's it's kind of that flow that ends up happening. And it was a sincere gift that I was giving people. It wasn't like, oh, I want to, you know, if I do this and I'm going to get
no, there wasn't an agenda or attachment.
In fact, I didn't even realize, it didn't even cross my mind that would happen. And then I started noticing it, and I was like, and then when I had to take a break from it for a while, I started noticing, things tapering off slightly. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. That and what it is, it's about putting out positive energy. And it kind of goes back to that whole law of attraction thing. It's like when you're putting out positive energy starts coming back to you. And so when you're in a state of that progression to enlightenment, you notice those things. You start noticing, oh, wow, I just did an energetic thing and this energy is coming towards me. All this, I become like a positive magnet towards things, as opposed to the opposite, where I'm sitting and I'm dwelling and I'm worrying about money, and suddenly my car breaks down and, my house goes into foreclosure. And you see what I'm saying? It's like everything goes wrong when you're dwelling and you're sitting in that negative space.
Yeah.
You become a magnet for everything to happen. It's like, what else could happen?
I've heard people say like, oh, and all they're focusing on is what's going wrong in their life, and they're getting more and more of it. And they'll say to me like, when's this going to stop? And I says, it'll stop when you change your mindset, because all you're dwelling on is what's going wrong.
Right. So which kind of gets us into the thing where I was kind of hoping that we would have time to do. It kind of seemed to run over a lot, but, like talking about mindset, but we can kind of briefly cover it. And then, but the thing is that with mindset, literally mindset is about setting your mind and an intention to accomplish certain goals. And you need to be doing things that put you into a positive mode where you feel good about yourself. So what I always suggest is clean your house. Like, make sure your house is clean. Because when your house is dirty, you feel like shit, right?
Oh my God.
Over,
I had this exact conversation with my son last night. I went into his bedroom and I said, what we talked about, like, not in a bossy way. I was like, I'd washed all the pots and cleaned up. And then I went in his bedroom and there's another load of pots in his bedroom. And the side, like, needed cleaning.
Pots in his bedroom?
Huh?
Pots? Did you say pots?
Well, like bowls. We call them pots, but like bowls and plates.
I was like cooking pots?
No, but we call them pots, but it's like bowls, glasses, mugs and stuff. I'm like, what have I talked about abundance and like manifesting, like a home? It needs to be clean, clear, tidy, like a nice environment. Like it's just the two of us. There's no reason why we can't have it like that. And that's not too much to ask. And we had this exact conversation last night, and I totally agree with you. I think that is the number one thing to do first, is get your physical house.
You need to, because it sets something in your house. When you come home, you're calm, you're relaxed, you don't feel stressed, you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't feel bad about yourself, you don't criticize yourself because there's so much to do and you're never going to have enough time to do it. If you just reach out and just start doing it and get it all, get your house clean, get it organized, be able to have everything has a home. And when I say everything has a home, that means that all of your tools that you use, in the house has a specific place. It's not in this drawer, this drawer, this drawer. Oh, where's that? It's all together. Like everything has a home. All your bowls are stacked nice. All your glasses are together. I had a friend who I asked her, I needed something to drink. And I said, where's your glasses? And she said, in the cabinet. And I started opening cabinets and it was just full of junk everywhere. I mean, I was like, I opened up every cabinet. I was like, where is all your dishes? She's like, oh, they're in there somewhere. I'm like, what?
That would drive me nuts. It's like someone said, would getting a maid work? If you need to get a maid because either you don't like cleaning or you don't have time, so be it. At least your home is nice when you are in it.
Get somebody to come over and help you, But if you're opening up and it's destruction inside a cabinet, that's not going to make you feel good.
Okay? And when I come to the computer, I always say to my son, make sure when you finish at the computer, like you don't leave your plates, you don't leave your empty wrappers. And when I come to the computer to work and he's left all his stuff, it drives me nuts. Like it puts me in irritation straight away. Like,
Melanie Weiser, she just said that that cleaning is
always been a meditation.
And I actually agree with that. Like when you just kind of get into the mode and you just kind of get into the rhythm, because just that repetitious behavior, that rhythmatic behavior of doing something where it's just mindless is so meditative. And if you kind of get into that frame, you know.
Yeah, I feel that is number one, like to have your home as clean and tidy as you possibly can and organized, because when we did have a big clear out, even more, I found things that I didn't know we still had, and I thought we'd cleared a lot of stuff out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I always tell people, like that's the first step, is to clean your house. And then I say clean your temple. Okay? And this is your temple. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's start with the emotional temple or the spiritual temple. So quoting a scripture, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Okay? So if there's a bunch of junk in here, it's not a very good house for a spirit, right? Mm. And it's going to get interpreted wrong. It's going to get misconstrued because it's going to have shit on top of it, and it's going to come out with shit. So it's not going to be pure, right? It may have good intention, but it's loaded up with a bunch of shit. So if it comes out, it's going to be shit. So
junk in, junk out.
Yeah. So you want to clean your temple. And what that means is that you need to start letting go of your past. Just let it go. It doesn't exist anymore. You're living in a fantasy world. You're not even living in reality when you're holding on to your past, because it's not here. The only thing that's here, the only thing that's real is this very moment. So right now, the only thing that's real is you and me. Okay. And everybody in the chat room. That's it. That is the only thing that's real. And when I leave here, I'm going to be in my car. And the only thing that's real at that moment is going to be me in my car. And when I get home, it's going to be my dogs that need a walk. Okay. So, but if I start thinking about the dogs and they don't exist yet, then I'm creating anxiety because I'm worrying about something that hasn't even played out yet.
Or something that happened to you 10 years ago.
Or something that happened to you 10 years ago that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, and so if you can let go of all that stuff and you can just say, it's like, oh, but you don't know the things I've done. And I'm like, look, you're not the only person in the world that says that to me. Every single client comes in and says the same thing. I understand that. But how are you ever going to be happy if you're constantly waking up every day, bringing that baggage into this day and this moment, and then you have to relive it? And it affects everything that you do. So you can't even do something nice for somebody because it's affected by the garbage that you're bringing in. I mean, so like you go and do something nice. So an example would be that you're still holding on to your past. So you go and do something nice for somebody and you're doing, the service to others, thinking you're working on your 51%. And you start doing that, and then that person doesn't appreciate it, or you don't feel like enough people showed up in the chat room, or or something. Okay. And instead of appreciating all the people that are commenting right now, active, we sit here and we dwell on things that and that we can't appreciate it. And that not being able to appreciate what's happening right now is bringing your past into it, because it's always affected by, well, it's just that everything always ends up working out like that with me. It's always that way. It's just like in the past when I tried doing this and nobody listened to me. And it's like I tried doing this and my business failed. And I tried doing this and this happened. Or you go and you give a gift to somebody and they don't say thank you the right way. They just say, hey, thanks. And that's like not enough. It's like, what do you want me to do? Jump up and down? Yes. And they're like, I'm not going to do that. It's just not my personality. And so the thing is that you're bringing your crap into this. I was just having a conversation with my clients today. that I hadn't heard from in a while. And she called me and we were talking about this. And I said, here's the issue. You haven't gotten over your issues with your mom of that abandonment stuff. So every time he behaves a certain way, those feelings get reactivated. And she said, but I've already forgiven my mom. And I said, just because you've forgiven your mom, I believe you. You might have forgiven your mom, but you haven't healed your pain. And you haven't let that go. You haven't consciously said, I'm letting this go. So you got to work on letting those things go. And if you don't know how, most people don't know how. Most of the people that walk in my office say, I don't know how, with tears running down their face. And then I go, that's okay. You don't have to know how. I know how. And I'm going to help you with that. So I think that if you don't know how, find somebody who can help you.
And also, because like, I've heard some people that I talk to about mindset, and like I listen to a lot of like subliminals, good ones, not because you've got to be careful what you listen to. And I said to this person, like, how often do you listen to the subliminals? Because they introduced me to this particular like company. I said, how often do you do them? And they're just like, oh, once in a while. And I was like, that isn't, like, I can't tell you what to do, but that isn't going to change you if you just do it once in a while. They say it's a minimum of 21 days to stop.
It's 21 to 30 days. I hear 21, I hear 30.
I'd say, yeah, I'd give it a month at least.
I'd give it a month for sure.
Yeah, I would say a month.
Do it every day.
And every day, I'm like.
Every single day without missing. And
preferably without missing a day. Yeah, I listen to them even if it's for half an hour every night in bed.
You know, one of the best things that you can do, and I think we talked about this. Let me see if I have it in my purse. Yeah, I do. Okay. So
is that the mala beads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can take, and I made these, but I put
I like those.
You know, like a little thing at the bottom, and most of your mala beads have that like.
They have like a tassel thing, don't they?
Yeah, tassel type thing. So what you do is you say an affirmation and you just slide your bead across, and
or your mantra.
No, I am releasing, I'm letting go of my abandonment issues, or whatever. I feel safe and secure, or whatever it is that you want to say. And you just sit here and just go through each one of them, and you say it, and you just focus only on the bead. Look at the bead, think about the bead, say what you're saying, or close your eyes, because you can just slide it across one at a time and just focus. That's a kind of meditation. And you sit here and you go through it. There's 108 beads. So you say that mantra and and you do it every day for 30 days, and then you'll definitely see a difference. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can journal every single day, and you can create affirmations that are opposite of what it is that you feel. So if you feel you're unworthy, then you say something like, I am worthy. And you can write those every single day.
Mala beads are more mantra beads, aren't they, rather than prayer beads? They're more about doing, because someone in the chats, Michael's put prayer beads, but I thought they're more about.
Prayer beads are the Catholic prayer beads.
They're different, yeah.
So Catholic prayer beads, what they do is they wrap it like this, and then they hold it.
That's different.
They're like,
yeah,
it's slightly different. Mala beads are actually designed for mantras, and like you're literally, and a lot of times your prayer beads have they're made with string, and they usually have a knot in the middle, so you can't actually move the beads. So your mala beads are actually going to slide like that. Okay, so all you have to do is just go to Amazon and type in mala beads 108, and a billion stuff comes up, and they're really cheap. You can find them for like $15 to $20. They're not like super expensive.
And a really good one for the forgiveness, that to get you back to neutral, is I don't know if I've mentioned this before, the Ho'oponopono. I need to start listening to that again, because when I used to listen to it in bed every night, I used to wake up feeling so different every morning, very calm.
So there's a lot of mantras. Like there's certain mantras that people say that are like speaking out like certain names of gods, And
this isn't a God thing. This is her Hawaiian mantra, and all it is I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you.
Yes, I remember that. That's a hopa hopa or something like
Ho'oponopono. I don't know if I even say it right, but it works because I've done it. And I'm sorry,
I forgive you.
I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And I don't think it matters what order you do it in. I think there is a certain order, but I don't think it really matters. But there's a really good one I found, and I put it on headphones. And if I've fallen asleep with it on, and the next day I wake up so different. In days, I felt different. You know, it's not took 30 days for this to work. It starts to work very quick. But you need to keep it up, because it's like taking you back to that non-judgment of other people.
Right. So mindset is about creating a mental environment where you feel good about yourself, so you can actually accomplish certain goals.
Mm.
Like if you're doing affirmations, meditation,
like a daily practice.
Yeah, working out, walking. The first hour of your morning is what's going to set your day. Mm-hmm. So I always tell people to take that first hour and make it about you. So I'm the kind of person that has to have coffee. So it's not going to change. I don't care how spiritual you are or what kind of guru or master.
Your coffee.
God, that's like, it's not going away. So I get up in the mornings and I make the very first thing I do is walk the dogs. And actually start the coffee pot. I go walk the dogs. So the very first thing I'm doing is walking. Okay. And then the absolute very first thing I do in the morning is get up and walk. And then I come back and I drink my coffee. And while I'm drinking my coffee, I am either listening to an audiobook, or I'm reading, or I'm journaling, or I'm working on something that is specifically for me. Mm-hmm. That is not checking my emails, not checking my Facebook. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not business oriented. It's not, it's not me checking my schedule. I check my schedule later after I've had my coffee, because that first hour is Michelle's time. Okay. It's about me. So you want to set your first hour. I heard somebody say, if you get up in the morning and you put your tennis shoes on and you go brush your teeth and you go out the door and just start running, and you make that a habit, that it sets your mind and clears it and puts you in the right state to be able to accomplish a lot of things. Mm. And, I don't necessarily go running first thing in the morning, but I typically what I get up freaking at the crack of dawn. I mean, it's dark outside when I get up, so I don't just
go to bed when you're getting up, probably.
I have dogs. I don't have.
Yeah, it's different with dogs.
Yeah, so it's like having a 2-year-old child or a 6-month-old baby or something like that. For me,
I listen to, I've been listening to a lot of Esther Hicks. I like Esther Hicks stuff. Abraham. I actually fell asleep the other day. I must have been so tired with Abraham Hicks on, or whatever you want to call it. And when I woke up and I'd gone into a very deep, and I often do when I listen to that, I'd gone through 10 YouTube thingies without realizing them.
I've done that before.
They're all Esther Hicks stuff.
I actually sleep with binaural beats. And
I find that's like my little thing, in the morning, or whenever I get up, is I'll put half an hour of Esther Hicks stuff, because it helps me.
I agree with you. See, this is just about that's
different ways of
self-care.
Self-care, yeah.
Right. And so you want to start the very first hour of your day. So mindset training is about starting the very first hour of your day. That's going to set the rest of the day in motion. So whatever it is that you do, so I usually get up, I go make my coffee, walk the dogs, come back, drink my coffee, and then I do things for myself. It's either listening to something, reading a book, or doing something, that journaling or something like that. And then right after that, I go put my gym clothes on and I go to the gym. And then when I come back, I start meal prepping for the day because I'm out, you know, because I have to go to my office or whatever. And then I get ready for work. And so, but usually by then my head's in the right space. I'm clear, I'm focused, you know, I'm driven and I'm motivated and I'm on fire. So, and I wouldn't be able to be like that if I just rolled out of bed and splashed some water on my face, put my clothes on, put my hair in a bun, and walked out the door. And a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And so there's you know, if you want to be successful, you have to act like a person that is successful. And whether or not that's financially successful or if that's spiritually successful, you've got to act like people that are successful act. So if you're wanting to be successful at like physically fit, then you're going to need to act like the people that act. And that means you focus on what you want to create, not what you don't like.
And that's another thing. You say that, like, my son goes to the gym, I said, and I've caught him, he's listening to YouTube videos about how to train. You know, he's watching fitness professionals and learning. He's not just sat there watching any old rubbish, because that's not going to help him achieve his goal. But he's just done that on his own back, you know, which is cool.
And that's perfect. I mean, that's the kind of things that you need to do, because that's growing and working on creating the very best you. So if you're wanting to be if you're, you know, like your thing is that you want to be this whole fitness thing, like your son, then your first hour of their day needs to set that up to make that happen.
Yeah.
And, to get into the mindset of going to the gym or whatever. So that means that he might go for a jog in the morning or something like that. So if you're wanting to be, you know, professional and you want to build a business, then maybe your first hour needs to be about listening to the 7 Habits of Successful People or something, or Thinking Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
They're the sort of things I'd be doing.
Right, exactly. If you're wanting to be spiritual and you're working on enlightenment, then it's the same thing. Mindset is mindset. It doesn't matter what the category that falls into. It just, you've got to figure out what it is that you want. And if you're working on your spiritual enlightenment, then you need to be working, that first hour needs to be about, you know, clearing your mind, releasing your pain, journaling, releasing, letting things go, and meditation, you know, mantras, you know, get yourself some beads and do your mantras. Make your first hour of your day, you know,
and I always say, like, you know, about doing it daily, because you don't wash like once a month. You wash daily, don't you? Most people wash daily, sometimes twice a day or whatever. So like, mindset needs to be done, positive mind stuff, every day.
Absolutely.
You don't wash like once a week or once a month. You'll do it daily.
That's what you meant by that text. I was trying to figure that out. I didn't really understand. Some of the words didn't come out. Like it said LE, and I think it was like a auto type issue. And I was trying to figure out like what you were talking about. You were talking about washing once a day and once a year, and I was like, what?
What's she about? Yeah, like I always say, you don't wash. It's the same with cleaning your house. Yeah. You don't just do it once a year and expect it to stay clean, you know, be dust free and clean and tidy. You do it regularly.
Yeah. And if you don't know how, you find somebody who's going to teach you. You know, I mean, that's the bottom line. Stop saying I can't. Okay, this is what I want you guys to do. Okay, so everybody's kind of getting all silly in the chat room and stuff and talking to each other, but pay attention for 1 second. 1 second. I'm speaking now. Okay, just listen. Here's what I want you to do. Stop saying I can't. And instead of saying I can't, say how can I? Change those words from I can't to how can I? Just always, silly is fine. I just wanted you guys.
So in class of mainly boys, we've got some few ladies as well. We've got a class of naughty boys.
They act up all the time. I have to get my ruler out and then start. I don't think I have one, so I'm gonna have.
And the sensible girls.
Yeah. So
they are listening, but they joke around.
No, I know. I no, just want you to really understand this, that you need to start saying how. How can I? Because if you say, or why, a lot of people say, why can't I? Why can't I lose weight? So I always tell people, say that to yourself. And then they go, why can't I lose weight? And then I go, okay, now how does that feel? And they go, horrible. I feel like a loser. I feel like, and I go, okay, now say to yourself, how can I lose weight? And then they usually, and so then the mind will answer for you, because it starts reaching past the subconscious mind and starts looking
for solutions.
Yeah. And so then suddenly it's well, I can do this, this, and this, so there's a lot of how can I make more money? How can I get out? How can I change my career? How can I, I use that all the time. I'm like, when I come into a situation like where there's what I call like the doors are closing, I go straight into the how can I figure this one out? How can I get out of this place that my lease is up and I need to be moving? I don't know what to do. And my mind will take me exactly where I need to go. And spiritually, I'm spiritually reactive. So like, I'm very sensitive to my intuition. Does that make sense? So
well, don't you find, like, when you say like, how, can I change this, or how can I do this, or what can, to improve it, solutions might come up from someone else. It might come from another source that answers it for you within, sometimes very quick.
Sometimes it becomes an energetic, a universal answer. Sometimes that happens, or you can say God, or your spirit guides or something like that. But
it may come to you in all different ways.
You'll just get like a mind dump,
Yeah.
Like suddenly you'll just get like a data dump of some sort, and there's all these ideas that just start flooding through your head.
Like Tim says, he'll sleep on it and have a good solution in the morning.
That's exactly. It's so funny he said that, because I was about to say that. He's reading my mind. I was going to say that there's a technique that you ever heard of the Silva mind something?
Silva, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have one of their programs years ago.
Right. So in one of their exercises, they say to
Silva method or something.
Take a glass of water, well, mine's a bottle, and you drink half of it. And it's a symbology thing, but you drink half of it and you make this like saying about the problem that you're wanting to resolve. And then you kind of make some kind of comment about, when I wake up in the morning, I'll have the answers. And so you present it in a question form, like, how can I do this? And all these answers will come to me when I wake up, or something like that. So when you wake up, you get up and you say, you drink the rest of it. And you say, all the answers are coming to me now.
Yeah, the Silva method. I did have
it's kind of a silly little thing to do with the water, but some people like it's symbolic. I'm kind of more like him. I just say, just close my eyes and I go, I need some answers. How can I blah, blah, blah. And then I wake up and I have the answers.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as I wake up, I get a mind dump. It's like a data dump or something,
For me, it's often if I'm washing the pots or in the shower around water, it'll just come like that.
Yep. That happens to me too. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like suddenly an idea. When I'm running, that's when I get the most ideas. It's like,
yeah.
I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I need a tablet to write down this so I don't forget, because these ideas will just start flooding.
Or I'll be in the swimming pool if I'm swimming like laps, but yeah, it's around water I often get it.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, so anyway, so if you if you want to really understand mindset training and really get into it, contact me and we can work together. I do everything virtual, unless you live in Houston, and then you can actually come and see me. All you have to do is just send me an email and we could talk. We'll set up like a conference, like a video conference for free. I do all my consults for free, so I can kind of assess the situation and decide like what I feel like it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, and kind of go from there. Trisha, you want to talk about what you do? And
I don't know why I went silent then. I was like somewhere else then.
Where'd you go?
Huh?
I said, where'd you go?
I don't know. I was not zoning out. Like I was listening to you. I was taking everything in you were saying. I was like going into, yeah, I guess my work's very different, but also, yes, we have used the numerology to help you on your path, the cards, but also I work differently to Michelle, but I do have like intuitive downloads, and I do find that numerology though does help people a lot in business.
It helps a whole lot. In fact,
children.
In fact, I'm gonna send you one of my clients because she went to a Tony Robbins thing, which I love Tony Robbins, by the way.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I love Tony Robbins. Like, I swear, I think he's my soulmate. And anyways, he has never met me, but that's my feelings, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, anyways, but she did this Tony Robbins retreat, and she somehow or other, she came up with this whole purpose in life thing. And but it's more of a spiritual path is what it sounded like. And so I told her, I said, it sounds more like a spiritual path versus a purpose in life. And I told her about you, and I said, if you want to know what your purpose in life is, I have a friend that does numerology, and she's really good. And she's like, yeah. So actually, I think this just kind of proves what you were saying, is that it really helps you a lot if you kind of know what you're here for. And
yeah, and I have
that stress off of you, it's like, oh, I am on the right track. And that was funny because I read mine and you were like, hey, I'm already doing it, what I mean?
I get so many people as well, particularly ladies, ordering charts for all the children, the grandchildren. Like that's been huge this year, which has been great, because I feel if you can get somebody's chart done at a young age as well, and I've found it's healed mother and child relationships where they thought it was personal, when actually they realize no, they're here to either they've got numbers that are exactly the same, so they're butting heads because they're too alike, or they're here to be something completely different to you. And all my services are whatever you purchase, you get that free on top. Everything's buy one get one free, but it's only until 31st of August, so it's to celebrate my 8th year anniversary, so which was this month.
So what exactly does it mean buy one get one free? Like,
so if you order a numerology
for a reading and then my husband gets one free, or are you talking about multiple services that you have that you're offering?
So if you just want a numerology profile and you order that, you get another one free.
Okay, so you're talking about 2 numerology profiles.
Or you book 30 minutes, you get 30 minutes free. It's really generous.
Okay. I didn't know if you were talking about like buying numerology, getting a card reading free.
No, like say if you want a profile, then you get another one free for a loved one, a child, whoever you want to give it to or gift it to. If you want the sessions, which are a profile and the 30 minutes or an hour, then you just double up on whatever it is that you're ordering for the whole of this month. And you don't have, if you like somebody booked an hour, so she got an extra hour free. She can have that at another time. You don't have to have it all at the same time. Or you can pay it forward, gift it to a friend.
So you guys, make sure that, and this is for people that's watching the replay. As of now, we're live, but there will be people watching the replay. So please hit the like button. It would be greatly appreciated. If you've never subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And that would be greatly appreciated. Any person that likes and shares this, so like if you share it on Twitter or you share it on Facebook, and all you have to do is just send me like a little clip, like, you know, snapshot of it on your phone or something, showing me that, yeah, and send me an email and I'll give you a free copy of my ebook. Okay, this is just us just trying to you know, kind of get this word out. I'm building my channel. I have like a million billion subscribers on Facebook, but but you know, I'm working on now building my YouTube channel. So just,
and it will grow. I just hit 4K this week, so it will grow.
Shit, girl.
I started off with 7 in November, so yeah.
You started off with 7
subscribers in November, and the people that have grown a lot quicker than I have, so you know, it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do, and I'm trying to come up with a series that I'm going to be doing, and I'm really kind of like back and forth about what I want to do. I know that I did the 30 days to spirituality on YouTube, on Facebook, and that was really, I mean, people love that. They looked forward to their daily little inspirational talk, you know? And sometimes it was like 10 to 30 minutes. Sometimes I bantered for an hour if it was a subject I was really passionate about. Some of them I've actually uploaded on my YouTube channel, not all of them. But if I do this, I'll probably just start the whole thing all over. I don't know. I haven't really decided what I want to do, but I'm going to be doing something that's going to be some sort of like workshop type teaching thing that my butt's getting sore.
And I'm going to have a lot more guests on. I've got a lady coming on Friday called Sonia Bedlam. No, Beldam. I always get her name wrong. She works for the BBC in the UK. And she does a blog about her mother, and she's going to be writing a book because she found out her mother, well, she grew up with a very, they've diagnosed her bipolar, ironically, but she's got a lot of like mental health issues, her mother. But she's very gracious in the way, she's a life path 8 like yourself as well, actually, a Gemini and break. She's learned a lot from her mother, that she takes the positive away from something where she could be really screwed up. Like how it's given her the freedom to be more creative, the freedom to not be so like uptight. But then obviously she talks about, obviously as a child, it could be very frightening because there was pretty much no boundaries. But I don't know her full story yet. She's a really interesting lady. And
it actually sounds like a really interesting show. I'll have to make sure.
She's coming, it's 8 p.m. on Friday, my time. So that'd be noon Pacific. 3 p.m. Eastern, and I think for you it would be 2 p.m. won't it? Because it's 6 hours difference. But you can catch the replay. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I can check. You know, I'll figure it out. I always get notifications anyway, so that's one of the reasons why you always want to subscribe, you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then that way you get your notifications when we do have live shows. Trisha and I are on every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. This is Cosmic Consciousness. We are helping you grow spiritually, raise your consciousness. We are dedicated to giving you information and teaching you versus just bad, don't do this.
Apart from if your name's Anton.
What? Except for Anton?
Yeah, I said except for Anton, but I'm just joking. He knows I'm joking.
Yeah, he's and bad. I think Iowa X is just as bad.
Yeah, Iowa and Anton are in the naughty corner. They're like that.
Naughty boys. Yeah. So anyway, so that's a goal. Always remember to put in the comments if you're watching the replay, any suggestions of what you would like us to teach you or talk about, a subject that is confusing to you, you'd like more clarity on. Any kind of suggestions are good. You know, you guys are our audience, so anything that you feel is a good subject that would be interesting. So anything you come up with, make sure you let us know and we'll talk about it. G and I will, and we'll see if it's something we want to do. I did get a request the other day by somebody that contacted me through Facebook, and it wasn't something I would do.
Like Anton's just said, talk about sex.
Well, that's what it was about.
Really?
That's what it was about. Like he's a foreigner, and
it wasn't Anton in disguise, was it?
He's a foreigner, and he said that he's just real confused about, you know, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate for. You know, he
some
just, you know, and he wanted to talk about it, and I was like, I can talk about it privately right here, but I'm not going to get on there and like.
Sounded like
it doesn't fall into the category of the things that I work with. So I mean, I do mindset training, I do spiritualism.
Not sex therapists.
Gambling. Boys will be boys.
Yeah.
You know, actually, that's not a bad subject. We could talk about gambling spiritually. That you don't like it.
Oh no, I'm just trying to think. Like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah. Well, you're gambling with your soul. Like, which way are you gonna go?
My father loved to gamble. That's why it made me laugh as well.
Yeah, I think. No, I don't know. This is probably a stupid subject. But anyways, I actually probably need to go because I gotta go home and I gotta walk my little doggies. They're probably going.
Narcissism. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a subject I'm very passionate about. The spiritual narcissist. Yeah, that's a good one.
Spiritual narcissist. Hey, that's pretty much kind of the thing that I was talking about the God complex.
Yeah, but on steroids.
Yeah, but on steroids. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people, even just over our history, that have been that way. You know, like gurus and starting their own cults and all that stuff, and they start to believe their own shit. You know,
I'm seeing a lot of it on YouTube, particularly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've got a video to make before I go to bed because my new cosmic, I'm calling it cosmic, not because to cover this, but the cosmic connection radio show I used to do, and I just like the word cosmic, so it's like a daily card reading I'm doing for everybody. So because I used to do all the star signs quickly and it was too much, it was too draining, like doing those every day, but I like putting something out there. So it's like it's an energy update, you know, looking at the cards, looking at the numerology of the day, bit of astrology, only a little bit. And I haven't recorded tomorrow's yet, so I'm going to do that now while I'm up and I'm up and awake and like in the mood. I'm going to do it now, ready for tomorrow. Yeah,
I have one that I'm about to do on my show on YouTube, and I'm not sure exactly when. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow, if I can find the time. But my mom and I were having this whole conversation about Corinthians 13, and I'm not a Bible banger, but I definitely know the Bible better than most people that claim they are Christians. And so we had this whole conversation about that, and it's about love and your spiritual gifts and everything. And I thought, wow, this would actually be a really good YouTube show, because
I used to have a bangle, and I'm not into Corinthians 13 something. It was like love is patient, love is kind, love is
so basically it talks about what love is and what love isn't, and it's a really good guideline. It's like for whether you're spiritual or not, you know, it's really good information. And then it gets into the spiritual gifts that people have, and it basically says, you know, you can pray, you know, you can pray with a, you know, blah 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 whatever, but if you're out there praying on the street so everybody can see you, then it doesn't count. And I'm kind of basically summarizing it. If you go and feed the homeless and you go and brag about it, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's like basically saying you can be the greatest healer, but if you're bragging about it, if you're like doing all this stuff, it doesn't count. Now, when I do the show, I'm actually going to read it and I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to, summarize and that kind of stuff. But I think it's a really good topic because it talks about, because it kind of gets into that spiritual narcissism. It's like, look what I did. And
yes. That's a good topic, actually, spiritual narcissist. Maybe we should consider that one week.
Yeah. I mean, we did kind of cover it, but I think we could probably get into it. We could really get into the whole, we can be judgmental.
Well, it's not been judgmental. It's shining a light on it because there are a lot of people getting duped. I'm watching it daily. And that's not me judging. That's like, we're
just acknowledging what's out there. I mean, it is true. It's right there. Okay. And when you're telling people, okay, look, you guys, this is turquoise. Pay attention. Turquoise. Somebody is trying to tell you it's a diamond. It's not. It's turquoise. And that's basically it. I mean, as long as we're kind of talk about fake gurus, that's basically what we're talking about. Well, sort of. But there are people out there that have good intentions that are still kind of falling into that category. They're getting a little getting that.
The spiritual narcissists, then their intentions are not good. Yeah,
that's true. We've let you lead this one since it seems to be a passion for you.
It is a passion of mine.
You can.
Maybe we'll do that one.
You can have that one up. We'll talk about that next week then.
Okay.
You can have that one up. It's going to be on your channel anyway, so you can.
Okay. I can prepare for it as well. So I've got lots of good content, not just from me, but I do follow a lot of proper practitioners as well.
He says go deep into it. So,
right. Okay. I think it's a good time to.
You gotta stop thinking about everything sex.
It sounds sexual. I know, Anton.
I can tell just by the giggle that you have. Oh my God.
He might be actually not being rude, but maybe it is me.
Sure. Oh, thank you, Ellie. I really appreciate that. You're making it a 30-day program. That's awesome. That's awesome. Actually, I have three different ones. I have was it 714, 528, and 397. The one's grief to joy, another one's letting go, and then the miracles. And so there's three different ones. So if you do have grief and you want to let go of it, that's actually, I think it's 397. But
he says he wasn't being sexual. That was me, you see.
I believe it. It is you.
It is me. That's the inner me is coming out that I hide.
Honestly, maybe we should just give up the whole spiritual stuff and just make it sex talk with Michelle and Michelle.
Have you seen sorry, I said I was going. Have you seen my new Tuesday titillating tarot with Trisha?
Actually, you know what? I got an idea. Maybe on night we should just do Kama Sutra, sexual alchemy talk with.
Oh my gosh!
Make the sex spiritual and.
Kama Sutra sex talk. Oh dear. I can't see straight now. My eyes are all blurry.
Yeah.
A night sex show.
Ellie, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Right. Anyway.
I actually created that, Ellie, with for my clients. Because I had very specific clients that I needed something. So it's if you guys don't know what it is, it's so I took binaural beats, which are frequencies. And I took the frequencies and matched it up with, and I used some hypnosis in there. So I used some words and I used the video that matched with the words. So it's like, so some of it is like moving around. It's like your brain is reprogramming, and so it's like, like all these little digital things moving around, or you're going deeper into something and you see yourself floating through the clouds. I use a lot of different videos to kind of help, because your mind thinks in images. And so I use those kind of things, to kind of do that. So that's basically what that's about. Yeah, laughter and sex go great together. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we could do Kama Sutra.
The lady in the UK,
sexual alchemy,
She does on Facebook Nighttime with Nelly, and people write in with their problems and she answers them. Maybe we could do something like that. And they're anonymous. Like, you don't I'm frozen. Like, that's really they write in with their like sexual problems or marriage problems, and she answers them, but it's hilarious.
I'll tell you something funny. My husband used to be a sex therapist.
Did he?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me with his life path.
Yeah, he did it for a little while. So he did it when he was in a different state, and then when he moved here, he tried to kick it off here, and it didn't take. Well, it was just really difficult to advertise, and because there's certain things that you can say and certain things you can't say and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he did that for a little while. Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me knowing his life path number.
Yeah. Anyways, and now he's a private investigator. Totally different. Yeah. All right, you guys.
You never know what we're going to come back with next week. We'll keep you guessing.
We could do some really sexy intro with this woman, like.
Oh, do you know, I was thinking of, it was maybe a British thing. It was called, oh God, it was a really late night show, and it had this sexy woman dancing, but it was like just a silhouette, and I can't remember what it was called. If anybody remembers it, IRX might do, even though he's not British.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was this show, this program that started late at night, and she used to dance, but it was just a silhouette.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, what we can do is, since you've got that silhouette thing going on right there, maybe we can get you to do your little...
You're not getting me dancing sexily. I think you got the moves more, Michelle. It's a bit like a James Bond intro, but it wasn't James Bond. It was something.
Yeah.
Else.
I'm sorry, you guys. Trisha and I are silly.
Yeah, but that's good.
Laughter's
good.
So right, this is my definition. Okay, so I don't really care what everybody else says. This is my truth. This is my definition of spirituality. Right here. Just having fun. Acceptance of self, and just having fun and laughing and cutting up, and
no judgment.
No judgment, just being real, no matter what the subject is.
Tales of the unexpected. Sorry, I just had
Tales of the unexpected, yeah.
Big P99 is British, yeah. That's it. I got the image of Tales of the Unexpected.
Oh, yeah, like I could turn the light off. And...
Oh my God.
Michelle. This is Michelle. Take my glasses off.
You've been very good doing the ASMR, Michelle.
This is Michelle.
I bet you'd be good at ASMR.
What is that?
It's like gives you a brain orgasm, where they like whisper into the mic and they're tapping it with their fingers. Have you not seen it?
No, I've never even heard of that.
Look up ASMR on YouTube.
ASMR. You need to send me a text message so I don't forget.
ASMR, and it's supposed to give you like a brain orgasm, but it's supposed to help you sleep. These women are like, they've got like millions of subscribers, 500,000 subscribers.
Maybe that's a new career for me. It might make sense.
It could be.
So I'm going to have several different pathways here. I'm going to have sex talk with Trisha G.
Michelle T and Trisha G.
Yes, Michelle T and Trisha G. PG.
Oh dear.
Oh my.
I'm going hot now. But yeah, it's the thing, and it's big business, ASMR, but there is a science behind it.
Well.
And a psychic I used to work with no longer does psychic work. She's doing ASMR on YouTube.
Interesting. Wow.
There you go.
There we go. Maybe
Right,
I could, just get a little sexy on here,
Oh my God. You'll be giving Anton hot flushes. Yeah, ASMR, look at the views. Some have 100,000 plus. Some have a lot more, yeah. It's not dirty.
I need to check into that.
The G-Spot show.
G-Spot show.
The G show.
Michelle and Trisha, the G-Spot show.
That'd be a great podcast. Helping you with your sexual, I don't know if that didn't flow. Helping with your sexual problems, your sexual agony, and where's all this coming from?
I don't know. Where is this coming from?
Right.
Hey,
Anyway,
I have bright pink lipstick on tonight.
you usually do have bright pink on, don't you?
I know. Usually I wear like nude colors. Yeah.
I've got the nude on, and you've got the pink.
I know. We changed. All right. I do need to get home.
And I need to go to
work on your video.
And then go to bed.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, thank you for hanging out with us. It's been fun.
It's always fun. Yeah.
It is. And we'll be back on my channel next week, and you'll just have to wait and see what we're going to do.
Yeah. So thank you guys for just going along with us and understanding and believing in yourself, loving yourself, and just enjoying life. That's what we're here for. So we love you guys, and you guys have a fabulous, fabulous night. All right. Hold on. Here we go. No, I don't hit end the meeting. I go what? How do I?
You go to the top and go.